Hello, my scholars. I am back with a requested video of solving two-step equations. I am going to kind of do this quickly because this can get pretty lengthy and I don't want y'all to get bored and not pay attention. So we're going to move through. I need you to follow along as best as you can. All right. So things to remember when we are solving equations is one, we have to know the basic operations of mathematics, and we also have to know their opposites. Basic operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, they're opposites. Opposite of addition is subtraction. Opposite of subtraction, addition. Opposite of multiplication, division. Opposite of division, multiplication, right? So when we are solving two-step equations, we ask the same questions that we ask when we're doing one-step equations. What are our original operations? And then based off of our original operations, we use their opposites to solve. Okay? Sometimes our problems are going to look like, oh my gosh, but remember I told you, use what you know to be able to do what you think you don't know how to do. All right? So here's one. Let's look at this one. This should be x plus 18 divided by 3 equals 9. X plus 18 divided by 3 equals 9. So the first question we want to ask are, what are our original operations? I see x plus 18, so that's addition. That tells me I'm going to have to use an opposite of addition, which is subtraction. So indicate that over there in the corner. And then I have divided by 3. That's division. So divided by 3, that means I'm going to have to use the opposite of division, which is multiplication. So I'm just going to indicate that over there. So it just tells me that the two operations that I'm going to use to solve this equation are subtraction and multiplication. Now, when I see this setup, I see a fraction. I don't like working with fractions. I like to try to get rid of fractions first. So in this case, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to start with the original operation of division because I want to get rid of the fraction. Okay? Now you'll see it different later on, but for now, when I see it this way, when I see x plus 18 divided by 3, I'm going to take it out of fraction format to make it a little bit easier to work with, okay? And the way to do that, we know that fractions are division, so we are going to multiply. Multiply by what, Miss Rain? The very thing that we are dividing by, because we're doing the opposite. We're going to do the inverse operation. So x plus 18 divided by 3, I want to get rid of this 3. I don't want it to be a fraction anymore, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. Because what I do on one side of the equal sign, I have to do on the other side, right? All right, when I do that, we get what Miss Rainby calls cancel culture. When we cancel culture, what's left on this side of the equal sign is x plus 18, and it is going to equal 9 times 3, which is 27. Okay? So now we have another one-step equation that we are going to solve. So here we have x plus 18. So the original operation is addition. Thus, we want to use subtraction to solve it. I know that when it's all said and done, I need x by itself. In order for me to get x by itself, I need to get rid of 18. To get rid of 18, because it's positive, I'm going to do the opposite. So I'm going to subtract 18. What I do on one side of the equal sign, I do on the other side of the equal sign. So, of course, with the 18s, we cancel culture. We are left with x equals 27 minus 18, which leaves us 9. So our answer is x plus 9. Okay? So we went from original operation of addition and division. We used the opposites. From division, we multiplied. From addition, we subtracted. And that gave us our answer. That's how we were able to get x by itself. Or do what we call isolate the variable, meaning get it by itself. All right? So let's move to this one. This one looks a little bit different. We have a fraction, which is division, but then we also have subtraction. The question is, well, how do I know where to start? Because Ms. Raymond, you just told us that you don't like working with fractions. I really don't. But in this case, we are going to save the fraction for last. And the reason we're saving the fraction for last is because the x is actually, or the variable is actually a part of the fraction. So we have to get rid of everything around it and first. So remember I talked to you all about getting rid of the thing that's furthest away from you first. So in this case, negative 14 is furthest away from the x, and then we'll come back to get rid of the 2. Okay, so we know the two things we need to get rid of is negative 14 and 2. How do we do that? We're going to start with 14. If it is subtraction, the opposite of subtraction is add. So we're going to add 14 and add 14. That's what we do on one side of the equal sign, we do on the other. So of course, this side, it cancels culture. And so we are left with x divided by 2, keep the equal sign, and then 7 plus 14 is 20. Got it? Cool. Now we need to get rid of the 2. In this case, we are, in this case, this is division. So we are going to multiply by 2. Both sides by 2. What we do on one side, we do on the other, right? So we cancel culture, and you are left with x equals, and then 21 times 2 is 42. So, but we have isolated the variable, and now we have x by itself. X equals 42. Okay? Now we move this way. And let me tilt it back up for you to see. There we go. So here we have 2x plus 6 equals 10. I tried to use, like I said, I tried to find different examples so that you would kind of know what to do in different scenarios. So here we have 2x plus 6 equals 10. Remember, when you see a number and a variable together side by side, that is multiplication. That is the same thing as saying, to put it in context, that is the same thing as saying 2 times x, or if we were to write it with parentheses, 2 times x, or this way, 2 times, it's the same, that all means the same thing, okay? So when you see a number and a variable together, that operation is multiplication, and then here we have plus 6, that operation is addition. So that means we're going to use the opposite operations to solve. So if this is multiplication, we're going to use division. If this is addition, that means we need to use subtraction. Question is, what do we get rid of first? Again, another scenario where we get rid of the number that is furthest away from the variable. In this case, it is 6. So because it is plus 6, we are going to do the opposite and subtract 6. So we do on one side of the sign, we do the other. Okay, so here we cancel culture of 6, and we bring down 2x equals, and then 10 minus 6 is 4. Great. Now we have another one-step equation. So we've discussed this 2x together is multiplication. That means we have to divide. Remember, division and fraction is the same thing. So we're going to divide by 2 because we're trying to get it by itself. So we're dividing by the number that we need to get rid of. And divide by 2. On one side, we do on the other side. So here, cancel the culture of the 2's. X equals 4 divided by 2 is 2. Right? And last but not least, same scenario, but this time the original operations are multiplication and subtraction instead of multiplication and addition. So multiplication, we know that we will use division. Subtraction, we know that we will use addition. We're going to get rid of the number furthest away from the variable first. So here we have negative 22, minus 22, so we're going to add 22 to both sides. Add 22. What that does is cancels the culture of 22, and that leaves us with 7x equals 63. Okay? Oh, you can't see that, sorry. 7x equals 63. So 7x equals 63, we have multiplication. That means we're going to divide. We're going to divide by the number that we need to get rid of, which is 7, because the goal is to isolate the x or get x by itself. What you do on one side, you do on the other. So divide by 7, divide by 7. That cancels the cultures. 7, get x equals 63 divided by 7 is 9. There we go. All right. So that is how we solve two-step equations. I hope that was helpful for you all. I know it was kind of quick, but you can always use this video as a reference to help you. The biggest thing is to remember to ask yourself what is the original operations and then what are their opposites. Remember that a fraction is division. Remember that when you see a number and a variable side by side, that is multiplication. Remember that add plus positive are the same thing. Remember that subtract minus negative mean the same thing. They're all the same thing. So if I see a subtraction, I know I'm going to use an addition. Or if I see a negative, I know I'm going to use a positive. All right. If I see minus, I know I'm going to use add type deal. If I see add, I know it's minus. If I see plus, I'm going to minus. You know what you get it? You know what I'm saying? So those are just minor things to remember. And ultimately, you have to pause and ask yourself at the very beginning, what is my goal? What am I trying to get to? And then think about the process that it takes to do it. You got it. You can do it because y'all are great. So I need you to be great on purpose while you are solving these equations. All right. See y'all in a little bit to talk about combining like terms.